Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Monday, March 27th.
If churches are networking, the community does prosper. Networking instead of competing gets a lot done when we work together.
Over 20 local faith leaders gathered for a luncheon in Palm Coast last week. Pastor Charles Solano, who runs Grace Tabernacle Ministries and the Grace Community Food Pantry, was among the attendees of the event hosted by Palm Coast Mayor David Alfin. He explains how the round table works.
If you were a faith leader, you might tell me what your challenges are. And then we go around the room and say, how can we help? How can we assist in that? Pastor Galloway from the Calvary Assembly satellite church that came out of Ormond is up here. So we helped him to establish a schedule for food drops.
Solano says many ministries asked about starting a food pantry.
Everybody wants to be there for somebody who is food insecure. And so the conversation came up where they would like to do something like that. And I said, well, I'll help you get that started. And so it's about working together. So those are the basics of how the relationships are formed.
He adds, in a divided country, events like this create unity.
There's a lot of people in churches that are looking for something to do, but there's not enough ministries in their own particular church for them to participate in. So it creates opportunities where we begin to network and build relationships. And so it's got to be a safe place where people can, maintain their doctrinal beliefs and still come together for common cause. And the common cause is, how can we make our community better?
Faith leaders will continue to meet with the mayor quarterly. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. A reckless driver manages to get out of Flagler County, but not for long.
Sheriff Rick Staley says deputies spotted the driver going triple-digit speeds on southbound US 1.
Deputies attempted to stop the vehicle, which then fled, ultimately getting onto Interstate 95. The driver exited State Road 100. Deputies again attempted to stop the vehicle, and once again it fled.
Spike strips were deployed, taking out both driver's side tires.
That didn't slow this reckless driver down, even though her tires were disintegrating as she fled on State Road 11 towards Volusia County. We notified Volusia County Sheriff's Office, and a deputy from Volusia clocked her at 110 miles an hour. And then a few minutes later, found her vehicle crashed in a ditch. She was taken to the Volusia County Jail on Flagler County charges and Volusia County charges. I am amazed that her reckless behavior did not hurt anyone or kill anyone, including herself.
For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
A beaked whale is euthanized after washing ashore in Flagler Beach. Beachgoers spotted the massive 15-foot whale at Gamble Rogers Park Friday afternoon. The decision to euthanize the whale, which was likely sick, came from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration after experts said beaked whales aren't strong candidates for rehabilitation because they're reclusive deep-sea creatures. A necropsy will help experts understand why the whale was beached. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
Flagler Beach is begging you to dodge the dunes.
In the past 6 months, Flagler County's been reinforcing its case to state and federal partners, including Governor Ron DeSantis and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, as well as the Federal Emergency Management Agency, through the building and renourishing of beach dunes since the recent hurricanes. Katie Dockhorn, assistant to the city manager of Flagler Beach, explains the dunes can't be bothered right now.
In the city of Flagler Beach, we're really lucky to have a system of dune walkovers, and so we're really encouraging folks to please use those dune walkovers to access the beach because the dunes are so vulnerable right now and precious to us in protecting our city.
Dockhorn adds, with the newly placed sand, officials are urging visitors and residents to stay off of it because it's not high beach, and it will take time for the vegetation on the dunes to take root. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
How private is the Elks Lodge? Bob Williams, the exalted ruler of the Palm Coast Elks Lodge, said it's a private club, but there are ways for non-members to come in. He said that friends and family members can come to events, and they're always looking for new members to join, or you can rent the place.
We have the Kiwanis that meets there. In which Kiwanis is another charitable organization, so we work well with the Kiwanis. We have a veterans lunch every other Wednesday.
Williams said there is also the Elks Riders. It's a riding club for motorcycle enthusiasts. He said that the riders will also do charitable work. It's been just over a week since the Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation fundraiser.
Since then, John Subers, who is the foundation's director, said that the gala raised more than $120,000.
Always a different cause. This year's cause was cancer, and cancer's prevalent in our community. And it was announced at our gala that Advent Health will build a standalone cancer center here in Palm Coast.
Subers said that's huge news since there are any number of different cancers and they are everywhere. Lifeline airs on WNZF Saturday mornings at 9, and it's on the Flagler radio app. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.
And now, Mike Licio with your WNZF local sports update.
Spring break has come to an end. FPC Track and Field had 2 meets this weekend. At the Tokoi Creek Toro Showdown, Cassidy DeYoung won the 3200. Summer Barnes finished second in the 200. At the FSU Relays, the Bulldogs 4x400 team of DJ Murray, DZ Stewart, Isaiah Joseph, and Demonte Curry had another impressive showing, finishing second out of 34 teams. Friday night, Matanzas boys lacrosse falls to Cocoa Beach 20-5. South Florida owns the college basketball world. The Florida Atlantic Owls, who had never won an NCAA tournament game in their entire history, outlasted Kansas State 79-76 Saturday night to earn a spot in the Final Four. Things are still surreal to Owls coach Dusty May.
Now you're going to the Final Four. Have you been able to kind of put that in perspective?
No, not at all. Maybe the first round game or the second round game, one of our guys made a mistake, and I went to the staff and I said, we've really got to fix that issue in this offseason. So that's kind of how I'm wired. I'm just happy for our guys.
Yesterday, the University of Miami punched their first Final Four ticket, defeating Texas 88-81. Hurricanes coach Jim Larinaga.
The guys did a great job from start to finish, and I'm very, very excited for them. They're an amazing group, and they earned that today because they beat a very fine opponent.
Saturday, Miami plays UConn, FAU, San Diego State for a spot in Monday's championship game. School's back in session today. Bulldog baseball at Oakley, flag football, Spruce Creek at Matanzas, FPC lacrosse hosts Cocoa Beach at 6. Girls lacrosse tomorrow, FPC hosts Matanzas. Tuesday night baseball, Rich Carroll and I will be back on the call as Matanzas hosts Menendez at 6:30. We will have the game live on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel. Coverage begins at 6:25. Matanzas wrestlers Tiana Fries and Christina Borgman finished in the top 8 at the NHSCA High School Nationals, earning All-American honors. We're your home for local sports with updates Mondays and Fridays. From the WNZF Sports Desk, I'm Mike Licio.